Welcome students to our new YouTube channel Pharma Tech, the division of excellence. So let's start to the new chapter of modern pharmaceutics, which is controlled drug delivery system, that means CDDS. This controlled drug delivery system is the most important chapter for your GPAT and CET exams. So let's start to this chapter, controlled drug delivery system. So in that, the conventional drug delivery systems like the tablets, injections and suspensions, creams, ointments, liquids and aerosols, etc., that require the periodic dosage of the therapeutic agents, and these agents are formulated to produce the maximum stability, activity and bioavailability. And for the most of the drugs, conventional methods of drug administration are effective, but in some drugs they are unstable or toxic and they have narrow therapeutic ranges, and in some drugs also possesses solubility problems, and in such cases a method of continuous administration of therapeutic agents is desirable to maintain the fixed plasma levels. And in various categories of these modulations of drugs release or controlled drug release. So next we see the types of this controlled drug delivery system. So the first type is sustained release. So in the sustained release, in that the constituents in a dosage form that provides the medication over an extended time. These are sustained release dosage. And next we see the benefits of these sustained release profiles includes it maintains the plasma drug levels and within a defined therapeutic range, and also the reduction in the number of doses taken by a patient, and also it enhances the drug safety profiles and improve the patient compliance. So in the benefits of sustained release profile include the maintenance of plasma drug levels within a defined therapeutic ranges, and the reduction in the number of doses taken by the patients, and it enhances the drug safety profile and also the improved patient compliance. So the next controlled drug delivery systems is the modified release. So in the modified release, there are different drug releases profiled to be combined in a single dosage unit. This is modified release. And the benefits of this modified release is it optimizes the treatment in cases where different drug levels are required at different times. And also it provides the rapid onset of action and sustained release benefits within a only single dose. And also it provides the controlled escalation of drug levels throughout a defined period of time. These are the benefits of this modified release. So the next is chrono release. So it is chrono, not a corona release. So the chrono release. So this chrono release enables a drug to be released such that its effect takes advantages of the natural biorhythms of the human body. For example, many hormones have circadian rhythms and gastric pH follows the daily patterns. And also the drugs that substitute for endogenous compounds such as corticosteroids and antidiuretic hormones can be dosed so that their release mimics that of the natural compound. And also the pulsatile drug delivery system are widely used to achieve this chrono release. So in the GPAT there is a question that which drug delivery system are widely used to achieve the chrono release, and the right answer is pulsatile drug delivery system. So the next we see the advantages of this chrono release. So the advantages include it improves the patient compliance and also in reduction in frequency of dosing, and also the employ less total drug, so reduce or eliminate the local or systemic side effects. These are the advantages of this chrono release. So, and also the chrono release advantages include improve efficiency in the treatment, and also it increases the controlled delivery at predetermined rate and reduce the fluctuations, and it is more uniform effect it shows. So these chrono release increase the control delivery at predetermined rate and reduce the fluctuations rate, and it shows the more uniform effects. So the disadvantages of these chrono release are this chrono release is in high cost, and this is poor IVC, that means in vivo in vitro drug, and also the disadvantages is dose dumping. So the disadvantages like high cost, poor in vivo in vitro control, and dose dumping. So next we see the drugs unsuitable for this chrono release. They are includes short elimination of half life, that means less than 1 hours, and the drugs which having the short elimination of half life, they are penicillin G and furosemide, and the long elimination of half life, that means greater than 12 hours, they are diazepam and phenytoin. So these diazepam and phenytoin, they are sedatives, and penicillin G is antibiotic and furosemide is antidiuretic. So the next one is narrow therapeutic index is digitoxin, and also the extensive first pass metabolism is also digitoxin, and the large doses, that means greater than 1 gram, is sulfonamides. So next we see the factors governing the design of these chrono release dosage forms. So the factors governing the dosage of chrono release dosage forms, they are drug related, biological factors, physiological factors, pharmacokinetic factors, and pharmacological factors. And also drug related factors such as aqueous solubility, partition coefficients, molecular size, drug stability, and protein binding. And also the biological factors such as ADME, that means absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. And also the duration of action and margin of safety and side effects and disease state. These are biological factors. So next are physiological factors. The physiological factors such as prolonged drug absorption and variability on gastrointestinal emptying and mortality, and also the gastrointestinal blood flow. These are physiological factors. And the pharmacokinetic factors such as dose dumping, first pass metabolism, and variability of urinary pH and its effect on the drug elimination. And at last the pharmacological effects such as changes in the drug effects upon the multiple dosing, and also the sensitivity and tolerance. These are the pharmacological factors. Pharmacological factors governing the design of chrono release forms. So next we see the various control release mechanisms, and the mechanisms of various control release, they are, first one is diffusion controlled, in that the matrix and reservoir are used, and the second one is dissolution controlled, in that also matrix and encapsulation is used, and the third one is diffusion and dissolution controlled, and fourth one is chemically controlled, they are biodegradable systems, and fifth one is ion exchange regions, in that cation exchange and anion exchange, this process included in ion exchange regions, cation exchange and anion exchange. And the sixth one is swelling controlled, in that the example is hydrogel, this is swelling, and the seventh one is osmotically controlled, and last one is magnetically controlled. These are the various control release mechanisms. So in that, first we see the diffusion control release system, and this diffusion control release system, it is broadly classified into two categories. The first one is matrix system and second one is reservoir system. So in monolithic matrix system, that means matrix system is known as monolithic matrix system, in that the therapeutic agent is dispersed in a polymer matrix and the drug release is controlled by its diffusion from the matrix into the surrounding environments, and the polymer and active agents are mixed to form a homogeneous system. And also in this monolithic matrix system, the drug molecules elute out of the matrix and only by the dissolution follow by the diffusion through the polymer structure. And in that, firstly the drug particles present in the layer closer to the surface of the device elute, and after completing the depletion of this layer, the drug particles present in the next layers starts the depleting. And also next we see the materials used as retardants in the matrix tablet formulation. So in that we see the matrix characteristics and the material used. The first matrix characteristic is hydrophobic carriers. The first is insoluble or an inert matrix, and the example materials for this insoluble and inert matrix in hydrophobic carriers, they are polyethylene, polyvinyl acetate, polyvinyl chloride and ethyl cellulose. So these polyethylene, polyvinyl acetate, polyvinyl chloride and ethyl cellulose, these are the materials used as insoluble or inert matrix in as hydrophobic carriers. So the next matrix is hydrophilic carriers, and they are insoluble and erodible, and the materials such as in insoluble and erodible, they are carnauba wax, stearic acid, stearyl alcohol, fatty alcohols and fatty acids. And hydrophilic carriers, that means hydrophilic carriers, they are, and the materials like methyl cellulose, hydroxy ethyl cellulose and HPMC, carboxymethyl cellulose, Na carboxymethyl, that means sodium carboxymethyl cellulose, and PEGs, polyethylene glycols, and polyacrylic acids, galactomanoes, and sodium alginate and methyl acrylate hydrogels. So the materials used in hydrophilic carriers, they are methyl acrylate hydrogels, methyl cellulose, hydroxyethyl cellulose, HPMC, carboxymethyl cellulose, sodium carboxymethyl cellulose, PEGs, polyethylene glycols, and polyacrylic acids, galactomanoes, and sodium alginates. And in the reservoir system, the active agent is contained in a core surrounded by the thin polymer membrane, and the active agent is released to the surrounding by diffusion process through the rate limiting membrane, and also in that the drug release limiting structure is the polymer layer surrounding this reservoir, and also the coating is uniform, so the diffusion rate of the active agent is fairly stable throughout the lifetime of the delivery system. So in the reservoir system, the drug release limiting structure is the polymer layer surrounding the reservoir, and the active agent is contained in a core surrounded by the thin polymer membrane, and the active agent is released to the surroundings by the diffusion process and through the rate limiting membrane, and the coating is uniform, so the diffusion rate of the active agent is fairly stable throughout the lifetime of the delivery system. So next we see the combined reservoir monolithic system. So this is combined reservoir monolithic system. So in this type of system is designed into two phases. The phase 1 includes this phase 1 is outer membrane layers, and the phase 2 is reservoir matrix materials. So and this combined reservoir monolithic system, it is initially the release rate is the rate of diffusion through the membrane phase 1, that means outer membrane layers, and as the time progresses a layer depleted from the active agent is generated in the phase 2 matrix, that means reservoir matrix material, and this matrix reservoir material immediately adjacent to the membrane layer. So next we see the advantages and disadvantages of this system. So we see the matrix system and reservoir system advantages and disadvantages. So the matrix systems, in that the achievement of zero order is difficult, and in reservoir system achievement of zero order is easy, and in matrix system the suitable for, so this matrix system is suitable for the both the degradable and non-degradable systems, and the reservoir system is degradable. Reservoir systems may be difficult to design in the reservoir system, and in the matrix system there is no danger or dose dumping, and in reservoir system there is rupture can result in dangerous dose dumping. So in reservoir system the rupture can causes the dangerous dose dumping, so this case is very dangerous. So in the matrix system this is not, in that the not all the drugs can be blended with a given polymeric matrix, and in the reservoir system drugs inactivation by contract, in reservoir system the drug inactivation by contact with the polymeric matrix can be avoided, and in the matrix system this matrix system it can deliver the high molecular weight compounds, and in reservoir system it is difficult to deliver the high molecular weight compounds. So next the release control drug release form is dissolution control release system. So this dissolution control release system is classified into two categories. The first one is matrix dissolution control, and second one is encapsulation dissolution control. And in case of matrix dissolution control, the drug is dispersed in a slow dissolving matrix consisted of the polymer, and the rate of penetration of dissolution fluid into the matrix determines the drug dissolution and the subsequent release. And in case of encapsulation dissolution control, the systems involve the coating of individual particles of the drug with a slow dissolving material, and the coated particles can be compressed directly into the tablets or placed in a capsules, and by microencapsulation or by altering the layers of the drug with the rate controlling coats, or other alternatives is to prepare the beads having the different coating thickness, so their release will occur in progressive manner. And the thinner coat, this thinner coat is initial dose, the thicker coat is the maintain, this thicker coat maintain the drug levels at later time. So next we see the diffusion and dissolution controlled system. So in the diffusion and dissolution controlled system, the drug core is enclosed in partially soluble membrane. So in the diffusion and dissolution control system, the drug core is enclosed in partly soluble membrane, and the drug core is enclosed in partially soluble membrane, and also the dissolution of part of outer membrane leads to the facilitated diffusion of the drug through the pores in the coating. And so this is most important diffusion and dissolution control system. So in that the drug core is enclosed in partially soluble membrane, and the dissolution of the part of outer membrane leads to the facilitated diffusion of the drug through the pores in the coating. So next we see the release rate is dependent on, so in the diffusion and dissolution control system the release rate is dependent on the surface area, and also the diffusion coefficient of drug through the pore in coating, and also diffusion path length and concentration of drug in core, and also the concentration of drug in dissolution media. So in these factors the release rate is depends, and also the fraction of soluble ingredients in the coating is a release rate controlling factor. So the fraction of soluble ingredients in the coating is a release rate controlling factor, is the most important in diffusion and dissolution control system. So next we see the ion exchange regions. So the ion exchange regions is water insoluble cross link polymer containing the salt forming groups in repeating positions on the polymer chain, and also in that the drug is bounded to the resin by repeated exposure of resins to the drug is chromatographic column or by prolonged contact of resins with the drug solution, and the drug resins is then washed to remove the contaminating ions and dried to form particles or the beads. And also in ion exchange resins, the drug is released by exchanging with appropriately charged ions in the gastrointestinal tract, that means GIT, that means in stomach, and in that the drug is then diffused out of the resin, and the rate of diffusion controlled by the area of diffusion and also diffusion path length and rigidity of the resin, and thus the drug release depends on the ionic environment that such as pH and electrolyte concentration and also the properties of the resin. And the advantages of these ion exchange resins for those drugs which are highly susceptible to degradation by enzymatic process, since it offers a protective mechanism by temporarily altering the substrate. And the limitations of ion exchange resins, the limitations are in the release rate is proportional to the concentration of the ions present in the vicinity of the administration site. So the variable diet, water intake and intestinal contents affects the release rate of the drug, and they are mainly of two types. They are cation exchange resins and anion exchange resins. So next we see the chemically controlled system. So in the chemically controlled system, this is in this delivery system that changes their chemical structure and when exposed to the biological milieu, and this system includes the biodegradable polymer that degrades within the body as a result of natural biological the process, and it eliminating the needs to remove the delivery system after exhausting of the active agent from the system. And in the chemical control system, the polymers used in the formulation and fabrication of biodegradable drug delivery devices erode, that means with or without changes to the chemical structure, or degrade, that means the degrade means breakdown of the main chain bonds as a result of the exposure to chemicals, that means water or biological enzymes. And also next we see the polymer degradation takes place by the two ways. The two ways of polymer degradation are the bulk erosion and surface erosion. And next we see the mechanism of the polymer erosion. In that, first one is type 1 erosion mechanism, and second, in the type 1 erosion mechanism there is hydrolytic cleavage, and at last the labile backbone bond forms. In this is the mechanism of erosion, type 1 erosion mechanism. And the type 2, in that the water insoluble macromolecules are converted into water soluble compounds by the hydrolysis, ionization or the protonation of a pendant group. So in the type 2, the water soluble macromolecules are converted into water soluble compounds by various processes such as hydrolysis, ionization, that means by transfer the ion, exchange ion, or protonation, that means by proton transferring or by giving the proton of a pendant group. So next we see the type 3 cleavage of cross links, and so in that the first one is type 1 is erosion mechanism, and type 2 is water insoluble macromolecules are converted into water soluble compounds by the processes like hydrolysis, ionization or the protonation of a pendant group, and the third type is cleavage of cross links. So next at last we see the mechanism of the drug release, most important. So the mechanism of drug release, in that the breakdown of the bonds connecting the drug to the polymer backbone, Next, we see the list of biodegradable polymers. The biodegradable polymers such as polyl acetides. So these polyl acetides is PLA and polyglycolides PGA and polylactide co-glycolides, that means PLGA. So the list of biodegradable polymers, they are polyglycolides, polylactide co-glycolides and polylactides. So these are biodegradable polymers. And also polyanhydrides and polyorthoesters. So these also polyanhydrides and polyorthoesters, they are also biodegradable polymers. And also a very different erosion pattern is the characteristics of the polyorthoesters, which are surface eroding polymers. So the characteristics of polyorthoesters is, it is very different erosion pattern is the characteristics of these polyorthoesters, and which are surface eroding polymers. So in the GPAT there is a question that which polymer is known as surface eroding polymers, and the right answer is polyorthoesters. So at last we see the magnetically controlled release system. So this is last is magnetically controlled release system, in that the small magnet beads are uniformly dispersed within a polymer, and when the units is exposed to a biological system, the normal diffusion of the drug due to the concentration gradient is seen. And however, upon the exposure to an external oscillating magnetic field, the large quantities of the drug can be released quickly. And the major advantages of this magnetically controlled release system is in that the possibility of manipulating the release kinetics of the drug by using the external magnetic stimuli. So these are the magnetically controlled system, and the advantages are in that the major advantage is possibility of manipulating the release kinetics of the drug by using the external magnetic stimuli. So there is high possibility to manipulating the release of the kinetics of the drug by the use of external magnetic stimuli. So by the use of vibrating magnetic beads, and by oscillation, in that the process in which the oscillation of magnetic field takes place. So here is the end of the part 1 of controlled drug delivery system. So in the next part we see the more important points of this controlled drug delivery system. So this part 1 and part 2 are most important for your GPAT and CET exams. So hope you like this video, controlled drug delivery system part 1, and please, if you like this video, please comment on comment section, and please like, share and subscribe to our channel, and please stay connected with PharmaXtech for latest updates, in that we give you technology plus innovative materials for your study, so your study will be very easy. And best of luck for your GPAT exams upcoming, and thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching. Stay connected with PharmaXtech. Stay tuned. Thank you.